In recent years, you may have noticed a new trend developing in cinema. That being movies with wacky and eye-catching titles. Films like Snakes on a Plane and Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter have proven that you don't need to make a good movie so long as you have an interesting title to get the punters in. But what if I was to tell you that this trend goes further back? I am Chris Hall, and today I bring you Bela Lugosi Meets a Brooklyn Gorilla. Now, for those of you playing along at home, the story goes like this. Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo are found in generic jungle, where they are found by generic jungle natives and generic jungle native love interest Nuna. They're nursed back to health, and we have a bit of a to and fro between the leads and the natives. Mitchell replicates the mating call of a drunken yak, and Petrillo makes you wish his mother had a headache on the evening that he was conceived. After 25 minutes of purposeless plot, comedy cul-de-sacs, and the one funny joke in the movie...
Run for your life! Run for your life! Go on, get out of here, run for your life! Daddy! Maybe I should run for mine too, no?
We finally meet our main villain, played by Bela Lugosi, who is a mad scientist doing experiments in evolution, and when Nuna falls in love with Mitchell, Lugosi plans his revenge. Will the boys get off the island in time, or will Lugosi get his revenge? The answer to all of these questions is yes, and ends the movie in the most mind-boggling and infuriating ways possible. The movie itself is a true marvel. You see, they don't hire actors to play the lead roles. No, they have impersonators doing impersonations. We have Duke Mitchell doing impersonation of someone who can sing. Sammy Petrillo doing impersonation of an asthmatic seal. And Bela Lugosi doing impersonation of someone who still has a career. Okay, so that's a little bit harsh on Lugosi. This film did come during his big downward spiral into heroin abuse, so being scornful towards him is a little bit unfair. No, if we are to be scornful to anybody, it should be our two lead performers, Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo. Now, it may have escaped your notice given just how subtly these two performers carry themselves and just how unremarkable they look, but listen, draw yourself in. These two guys are in fact a tribute act to Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. Yeah, I know, you never would have guessed that just to look at them. I mean, wow, it's just one of those things that once you've seen it, you cannot unsee it. But you see that there's a clever little twist to the whole thing, which is that Duke Mitchell cannot sing and Sammy Petrillo isn't funny. Ever. But isn't that he's just unfunny? No. He is spectacularly annoying. Every single line is screeched and whined and hang on a minute, we've been here somewhere before. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, why? Don't I look okay?
It never ends! No! At least in her cast life, she was only a side character. In this movie, 50% of the screen time is split between Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo, which wouldn't be so bad if Duke Mitchell wasn't a tall, compelling lead performer, when, spoiler alert, he isn't compelling at all, ever.
It was only part of the game you played.
He's just such a bland, boring lead performer who doesn't really do anything of great merit in the entire movie. All he really does is walk around holding hands with Nuna, looking dreamily into her eyes, every now and again warbling some kind of incomprehensible noise, and that's just about it. I mean, Jesus Christ, I'm no singer, but I can sing better than him. You know what? I will sing better than him, in fact, gosh darn it! Music! I mean, Jesus Christ, Sammy Petrillo, he somehow created one of the most offensively annoying characters in all cinema history. But that is something you can put a pin in and say this man has created the Jar Jar Binks for humanity. With Duke Mitchell, he's just dull. And that's it.
Very funny, very funny. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, I'm going to put my hands up and say I've never seen a Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis movie before, so I can't really do a cross comparison between this and one of their movies. Though, to be honest, if you were to compare the two, I suppose it'd be like comparing Citizen Kane to Birdemic. Though, with that said, the plot itself is just so poorly developed it borderlines the criminal. I mean, let us just take a brief moment to consider this one point. Duke Mitchell and Sammy Petrillo are a tribute act. Up until they made this movie, these two guys were in pubs and clubs and nightclubs doing their act to audiences. They must have been getting repeat bookings, so they must therein have been good at some point in order to get those bookings and to be picked up by the movie company to make this movie, even if for all intents and purposes this movie is a mockbuster. So to say that it is simply them being bad performers can't be entirely true, given that they must have had some talent to get to this point in the first place. So, with that said, we are just left with the plot, which, like I say, is poorly developed to the extreme.
Watch out for bats.
Watching this movie, I'm almost instantly reminded of the old Abbott and Costello Meets movies. You know, Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein, Abbott and Costello meets Dracula, Abbott and Costello meets Freddy Krueger. These classic movies in which you have two lead comedy performers meeting a horror monster or actor of the age. You know, you have these great moments of comedy which have these great set pieces in which the two lead performers can really go to town on, and then we have the moments of horror which, yes, they've aged somewhat, but still they're produced in such a way which you could argue that they are on a par with most of the horror movies of the time. And it's a great 50-50 split between the horror and the comedy. With this you don't get that. You get these poorly realised, poorly inspired comedy moments which are overly reliant on gags that don't really work, with next to non-existent horror elements. Now, of course, to call this a horror movie in any kind of capacity is something of a misnomer. It's a comedy movie first and foremost, if not its entirety. Though with that said, it does have a horror tilt towards it, if only for the sake of parody, if nothing else. So what we're left with is a movie that takes way too long to go anywhere, and then when it starts to go somewhere, it has so very little time to do it in that it feels compact and compressed and such a absolute bugger to get through.
Oh, lady, you got us mixed up with two other guys.
Now, to talk about the ending, and yes, naturally I'm now going to get into spoiler territory because this is the ending of the movie. So if you, for whatever reason, want to watch this movie without having the ending spoiled, just jump forward to whichever, wherever I've put the number for this. It may well be across my bosom here, or maybe around here somewhere. Wherever it is, jump there if you don't want to find out how the ending ends. And then we'll just go straight to the conclusion. This is your last call. Okay, time for the ending! So after Duke is turned into a gorilla, he and Sammy make their way back to the village, where this happens.
No, Duke, what are you nuts? Come on back, Dookie.
Yay! At last, peace in our time, the scourge of Petrillo has been cast from our lands. It's happy times, joyous times, and get home. Wait, what?
Where am I?
Where are you? You're in our dressing room of the Jungle Hut in Passaic, New Jersey, and we're on next. Let's go, come on.
Boy, what a dream.
Oh no, it was all a dream. Oh, horrible, nasty dream. Oh God. The thing that annoys me about this film's ending is not the fact that the movie did not kill one of the most annoying characters in cinema. It's not the fact that the film broke one of the biggest taboos in screenwriting, in that you do not end your movie, it was all a dream. The thing that annoys me about this movie's ending is the fact it's so abrupt. It feels as if the makers of the movie didn't know how to end their own movie. They decided to go with whatever fitted. Whatever could tie the film as neatly as they possibly could with whatever limited time they had left to make it. I'm reminded of people writing essays, of writing essays myself and getting to the end with only like 100 words left to do and being expected to write a conclusion from that. But rather than going back and editing bits out that don't work or are overly long, instead you work with what little you got, which doesn't work. And with this movie, it doesn't work. It leaves you with an ending which goes contrary to what it should be working towards. This ending should leave you feeling uplifted and happy and joyous in that our two lead characters have made it through in the end and it's all happy days are here again. Or if you hated every single minute of the movie, like myself, it should make you feel, well, at least the movie's over now, I can go back to my boring life. But no, it just leaves you feeling confused and befuddled that how in the hell they ever thought this was a good idea. So the big question, can I recommend it? Well, no. The film is just plain bad. There's no element of this movie that makes it a so bad it's good feature. The acting varies from annoying to non-existent, but it's more annoying than anything else. The plot is dull, plodding and poorly realised, and the humour is mind-numbingly aggravating. And while all these things can make for a good ingredients for a so bad it's good movie, here it just makes it an absolute chore to sit through. Though it is just bad, and that's it. It's not offensive or crass or obnoxious, it's just plain bad. Nothing more, nothing less. So there we have it. Bela Lugosi meets a Brooklyn gorilla. It wasn't very good, was it? Well, at least we can take some reassurance in the fact that our two lead performers, Sammy Picillo and Duke Mitchell, didn't go on to bigger and better things after this. Sammy Picillo did some erotic comedies. His only other notable credit was an appearance in the movie The Brain That Wouldn't Die, and as for Duke Mitchell, well, he did a few more bit part roles and he directed a movie called Gone with the Pope, which I'm sure is a fun and exciting movie for all the family. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go to the Isle of Cola-Cola and convert them to the righteous ways of Pepsi. That's it from me. This has been Chris Hall, signing off. So there we go.